Welcome to what is likely the last of the single weapon full playthroughs. Today we're going to be using the one weapon type I would consider my absolute second favourite. These are the advanced cannons, able to be used as railguns, as just rapid-fire, tiny gauge weapons, and pretty much everything in between, with every single loadout imaginable: incendiary, fragment, hesh, heat, just regular high explosive, and even anti-munition. These are probably the most versatile weapons in the entire game, and you're going to see a lot of them, because they are in every single faction. Sometimes a weapon type is really hyper-focused in just one faction. This one is pretty much universal. Everything has the lovely, lovely guns. Now let's just get straight into the game. I'll be describing the gun types as we go, and there is a lot of footage to get through, so hopefully you really enjoy this one. It's going to be a little bit late coming out to the channel, but I have had so much fun playing with my second most favourite weapon type. I just like missiles more. Now I should also say that throughout this playthrough, one of my major goals is to use shells and sizes I'm not normally used to, so going from the absolutely tiny little 18mm gauge with 6 barrels, all the way to the 500mm gauge with 8-meter length shells, we're going to try and use quite a few combinations, and definitely focusing on shell types I'm not normally used to, things like hesh and just pure kinetic shells, which I normally ignore for the sake of heat, high explosive, fragments, all the usual stuff I find a bit more reliable. Hopefully we'll find some combos I absolutely love. Spoiler, I do. Normally when I start these adventure modes back in the waters here in the starting resource zone, I am really happy. I love the start of this game, like starting a new Minecraft world. Everything is fresh and new, and you can create as you want. But this time I'm actually a little bit upset, honestly. This is going to be the last single weapon type ever, I think, in adventure mode. When I eventually go to melee only, I'm going to be using all the different melee weapons, maybe even close range flamethrowers, I don't know, and after that, or even before that, I want to finally do a campaign video. This just feels like the end of an era. I started doing these single weapon types challenges just because I was bored one day, like a year ago. And this is kind of the last one. And it's going to be just railguns and advanced cannons, which are, by far, in my opinion, the best weapon in the game. So, let's make something truly monstrous. But to begin, I'll be right back once I've got enough resources, and we're a tiny little turret floating in the water, probably a rapid-fire weapon, until I eventually, and I swear this, I'm going to focus on higher gauge weapons for our end design. I love rapid-fire weapons, I always end up using them as a crutch. This time, big shells, big boom. Well, I was trying to decide if I was going to be a ship or a hovercraft straight away, and then the weather did this. We're going to be floaty boys. The moment I became airborne, the rains have stopped, the storm has gone, the squall has calmed. I take that as a sign of the game wanting me to be a hover. The second I was out of the water, it rewarded me. Under attack, and we have not finished the weapon yet. This thing isn't even charged, but still, I'll have to give it a test now. I fired like one shell before. Okay, that was alright considering I ran out of power straight away. So this is absolute minimum gauge shells, and it's just fragments. When it's actually fully functioning, we should be getting like 700 rounds per minute, which is pretty nice. The issue is almost out of power already, so that's just fantastic. There we go, good, we got our first kill, just about survived. Oof. Need to remind myself sometimes. Build the gun first, then everything else. You can either build the craft to run away, or build a gun so you can defend yourself against the first enemy. Don't try and do both. Also, I've ended up in the water again and straight away the waves are back. It is a sign that Poseidon hates me. It's humbling seeing your first craft not anywhere near finished, kind of just limping towards a resource zone. We never finished the first resource zone. I needed to move early because that enemy was firing those flak shells at quite a distance. And I can't find the original resource zone, so we're moving to this new one near a red portal, so that's fine. Gonna completely armor this thing up. We're gonna be changing this turret a lot, because I was just testing and messing around with things, hence why most of it's on the deck at the moment. And we're gonna make it move faster than 16 meters per second. At the moment, I'm tempted to call it the hermit crab. Horseshoe crab. I mean horseshoe crab, don't I? Or a Kabuto. It's funny, now I've said Kabuto, I instantly want to play Gen 1 Pokemon again, which I haven't played in many, many years. And you'll never guess what my favourite Pokemon is from that generation. You have a few seconds to guess. Parasect. I always loved the Mushroom Boy. You'd think I'd have more patience after the Fortress run, but I am getting so bored right now just going towards this ring. I have spoke about like 10 different topics. Maybe one of them will end up in the video. Oh, I love it already. Okay, we got a kill there straight away. So technically speaking, these two should be able to have over 1,000 rounds per minute each. Once they're fully loaded. There we go. Oh, look at that stream of death. That's what I wanted to see. Problem is, we just used up all the resources on our gun. It's just a gun. It hardly does anything else. We haven't even armored up the gun. But too bad, we're going to difficulty 5 to fight stronger enemies. Hopefully the gun will carry us. This is so incredibly stupid even for me, but I wanted to shoot things, and well, I've made the big shooty thing. It needs obviously a serious turret cap, something that has once again gone above the, oh no, above the hull, because I wanted lots of armor on the sides. Nothing's explosive above at least, so it's not too bad. Things like, I don't think the railgun charges can explode. Anyway, I'm going to armor up even the sides of the turret itself like you're meant to, so this thing should be a serious hard point of the craft once I get the resources to do so. At least now we're moving at 14 meters per second. Whee. That is Lightning Hood's music, and that is a Lightning Hood's enemy, okay. Not the best there. Okay, there we go, never mind, we actually did take it out. Oh, please don't hit the gun. Thank you. Okay, let's get the resource. This gun will be so good when we can actually hold down fire. At the moment, we can only fire in bursts of like 10 seconds. 1,000 rounds per minute is great, but not when you can only fire for 10 seconds at a time. It's all just the side stuff. We need recoil suppression and more power being fed to them. So we just hold down fire like that. There we go. Beautiful. I think I've mentioned the term railgun maybe 1,000 times in the footage, but not once did I fully explain the difference between a railgun and a regular advanced cannon. So, where regular advanced cannons use gunpowder to accelerate the shells, a railgun uses energy. This is all stored in these railgun magnets, and then is fed through the railgun chargers. Now, these are very, very expensive parts, so straight away, the upfront cost is very high, especially if you want a decent fire rate. On top of that, the actual energy per shot can get very, very high, especially with the larger shells. So for all of that extra cost, what do you actually get? Well, first of all, you don't need any gunpowder in your shells, which means you can have more warhead bodies, or solid bodies, or absolutely anything else, making the shell a lot more deadly for its size than it otherwise would be. The second thing, because there's no gunpowder, there's no overheating. You simply don't need cooling units at all, just the regular gauge stuff, which is A, cheaper, and B, means you can fire as many shells as the autoloader can feed into the firing piece with no issue whatsoever with the cooling unit. Now, sadly, there is issues with the recoil, however, because firing so many fast shells does have a problem. Now, the physics of a railgun having so much recoil is dubious, but the point is, you need a lot of recoil absorption, and you'll see throughout this run, I often don't have enough absorption for just how many very, very quick shots I'm firing. And with the railgun, you can also just fire the shots at truly incredible speeds. By the end of this run, we're getting at like 2,000 meters per second. So yeah, hitting things far away, pretty nice, even if the accuracy sometimes has a lot to be desired. So that is a railgun. Very expensive, incredibly deadly, and my favourite way to use advanced cannons by far. Welcome to difficulty 5. Very small first enemy. You may notice the shells look very different now, so I've lowered the energy requirement by a lot until we have some more support on the craft, and I've added some tracers. Yes, you don't need a tracer in every single shell, I just think it looks awesome, so we're going with it, along with a stabilizer fin, and we now only have one barrel per weapon, which means our shells are way more accurate. And once they're fast again as well, it means we should be able to needle enemies even at long distances. Till then, we kind of cause a misty sort of rain. Now, what I'm looking for is a resource zone. I can go through a red portal anytime, but I really want to have the turret cap and the back armor finished. I want this to actually look like a craft before difficulty 10, because at the moment, I think we can all agree, this is a blob. Well, I managed to find myself a resource zone. We've just added some armor to the outside and a bit more engine power, and that's pretty much it. So I'm doing a little bit of decorating while I still can. Let's make that squishier, sure. Bit of an odd colour scheme I'm going with this time, but you know what, I think it works, and that's fine, and to be fair, this design's probably going to last all of one more difficulty tier, maybe two, so don't really want to spend too much time decorating this thing. Loads of outer armor, loads of internal armor, this thing should be able to take quite a big hit, and now with the increased power levels, it should also be able to fire for a much longer time. Much better. Yep, that's just go in and 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 going and going. Perfect! Lovely, lots and lots of shells, lots of damage. Let's go to difficulty 10 while I continue to decorate. This thing now costs about 80,000, so it is a little bit on the expensive side for this difficulty. Yeah, floaty grav tank. That there is the iron. It actually is more expensive than we are by a significant margin, which is great. So this will be a test against medium to heavy armored enemies versus our tiny little minimum gauge frag shells. Trying a little bit closer before we do our fight. Now, are those mortars, or can those swap to the sides? I think they can also swap to the sides. So what I'm going to try and do is get in front of it while it's reloading after that last shot. It's broadsiding now, so let's go for the core. Let's see if we can cause any internal explosions. There we go. One internal explosion. Must have hit an ammo reserve or something. Saying there's no fire. But it is underwater, I guess. Makes sense. Okay, change direction. Change direction. Oh, yep, that's why I wanted to change direction. Thank you. Another internal explosion. Beautiful. Yeah, that thing just goes straight through the armor. Absolutely lovely. Now, let's see if we can take out those main guns. There we go, one barrel gone. Those fragments flying everywhere, I'm surprised they're not being taken out faster, honestly. Can we please... There we go, no more moving for you. The fight is pretty much over. Since dodging those should be nice and easy now. Lovely. Internal explosions. No more movement. Now we can just core out the enemy at our leisure. Oh, look at all of those blocks. I love fragments. So I'm using this enemy as a test subject, because now it can't fight back. What I've done is I've just threw out all of my shells, and I've changed them, so now the fragment cone angle is set to max. This means, per fragment, we do far more damage. But the fragments go absolutely everywhere. This makes it significantly worse at actually getting into the target in the first place. But my thinking is, because we're firing these shells at about 1,300 meters per second, they have quite a lot of kinetic damage anyway, so getting into the target shouldn't be that much of a problem. Then with the higher cone angle and more damage per fragment, they should, in theory, now do more damage to the internals. Okay, so actually wasn't the best test subject, it was too close to being destroyed. Next time we'll figure that out. I also am starting to think I didn't fully let it reload yet, because that was firing in a staggered way. Yep, so next enemy. That'll be a test subject. I want at least one more fight before we go to difficulty 15. Before the next fight, one very small change. I've just upgraded the fire rate to 1,300. Fully load. Oh, I didn't see the enemy there. Yeah, looks like recoil suppression and our energy reserves is just about enough for that many shots. Oh, look at that. Yep, maximum angle frag. As soon as it goes into the enemy, it's going to tear apart everything. I do love this gun. It's going to be really sad when I eventually lose it, which will be very soon as well. I think I want to push it to its maximum for this kind of size, Then we're going to move over to 100mm probably, and different shell types. So these are just basic frags. We have heat, we have regular explosive, loads of stuff. Even just pure kinetic, which I never use. Though I think that's going to be for the higher gauge. I love this gun. Okay, we're now up to 1,500, so yeah, I'm going to try and make both of these barrels go to maximum fire rate, then we'll swap over to a new weapon. Love that so much. Slight change of plan, there's a sub over there which I really don't want to fight, so I'm going to go through the red portal. We are officially running out of difficulty 10 into difficulty 15. Maybe not the smartest choice, but still. Maybe we'll stay. No. I have taken some damage from that before. It's the Deepwater Guard submarine. If I'm correct in its weapons, it's actually going to be really annoying for us. Eventually, we will have cannons which specialise in underwater combat. Small melee craft greeting us here in difficulty 15. Could we please not target one of their spin blocks? That'd be great. Why am I bouncing so much? Oh, is it because of the waves? There's a good chance the waves are pushing us up and down because that's how we've got our stuff set. Well, didn't even really see that fight. Weird. I know it's not the recoil. No idea. 100% the waves. Normally, I set it up so the hovercraft is just at a certain level. At the moment, I have it set so it balances with the waves. I think it looks cool when you watch it, but now I'm thinking, maybe we should stop that. Actually increasing the fire rate is fairly easy. It's just being able to support it. So we are now on 1,915, because all I need to do to increase the fire rate is just add more belt-fed loaders. That's it. Every loader will increase the fire rate, and because we're not using any gunpowder, we don't need to cool them. It's just a matter of supplying it with energy and recoil suppression at the moment. Yeah, rail use is 5,700 a second, and its capacity is only 3,800, so it will run out of power over time. Same with the recoil. Actually, no, the recoil absorption's more than usage, so it's just the energy. Though we do have a lot stored, so that should take a very, very long time. And we're getting so close to 2,500. I have no idea when this happened, but at some point we entered difficulty 20. Now, admittedly, I've just been going forwards kind of on autopilot, listening out for a fight while I do other things in the background, but I have no idea when I went through that portal. Unless I miscounted. I may have miscounted the rings? I have no idea. Oh, 8 minutes ago. So yeah, I definitely just must have rode through a red portal at some point. One of the Onyx Watch sail vessels. Well, our misses there as it turned, which is a shame. Oh, as it turned, it's going to broadside. Let's keep firing about there, then. Really? I should either go for the sails or the weapons. Let's go for the weapons on the side, shall we? Sadly, can't see too much because of the fog and the rain. This is about the best we can see at this distance. How am I not seeing any explosions? Almost 200,000 damage now. I'd really expect some of the crams or whatever to go bye-bye. There we go. 1 explosive damage. Fantastic. Just removed the whole outer layer here. Whoa, we have taken away a lot of stuff. I guess cram doesn't really detonate in the way that advanced cannons do. I still thought it'd count as explosive damage when you took out the sections. Let's take out some of the sails. Gonna try and broadside, so let's just fire straight into the core again. Yep, the fragment's going everywhere. Oh, you bugger! Dude, we okay? We're fine? It destroyed my seat, because I'm now currently a different position than I was. Thankfully, the stacked armor survived. Good. At least it's a good test of our survival. Really thought that was done then. Ooh, resource zone. Okay, we are going to gather this resource zone, and we're going to have a bit of a major retrofit in the sandbox mode. Then we'll go to difficulty 25, apparently. I normally wouldn't grab a resource zone since we're already this big, but since we accidentally skipped a level, sure. 2 maximum fire rate barrels. versus the parapet from the Onyx Watch. Didn't think that thing wanted to get on top of us straight away, but oh, instantly killed it. There we go, AI death. As you can see, as soon as the outer armor is stripped, we just cause so much internal damage. And unlike heat shells, we actually do pretty well against the outer armor. Let's test against something a bit bigger. How about the trebuchet? This thing's kind of known for exploding once you get through the outer armor, because it has such big guns. But it does have shields and actually decent armor as well, so let's see how this goes. Okay, I'm seeing a lot of confetti. We're not breaking through as fast as I'd hoped. A lot of it is being stopped by that shield, annoyingly. There we go. One gun gone. Will we have any better luck with the middle gun? Because that took a little bit longer than I was expecting, to be completely honest. Although the trebuchet is not an enemy we're going to see until like difficulty 80, so not too concerned if this isn't the best showing. Perfect. Turns out, almost 5,000 rounds per minute, 7 fragments per round, you can do a lot of internal damage fairly quickly. Now we could up the speed we throw these shells, or even add a different head. At the moment they have a fragment head on them. We could change it to a heavy head or armor piercing so that initial hit does more damage, so we can get through the armor faster at the cost of a few fewer fragments. Not sure. I think for now that's going to be enough. Again, we're in difficulty 20. This is a godly enemy. We're not going to see anything like that for a while. At the moment, the cost of this craft is once again going to be about 2/3 the gun. And for once, I've actually armoured up the neck of this thing. Well done me. Sure, this thing's not going to win any awards for aesthetics or being particularly mobile, but it is a floating fortress. This thing has layers upon layers of armour, with actually heavy armour for once in the very core. I've made sure to arm up the neck and pretty much the entire turret itself properly for once, and yeah, it's just going to take an absolute beating before going down. It just isn't all that quick, and it does look a bit like a knockoff version of a Scarlet Dawn craft. But let's just ignore that, let's get moving, and let's find our first enemy here in difficulty 25. Actually, it probably does move decently quick forwards, at least. I lied about it not being agile. I guess I have still built it mostly out of light alloy. It's only the turret and the very core, which is regular metal and heavy armor, so maybe I should have done more testing before making those statements. Anyway, it's not quite done yet because I didn't really have enough resources to finish off and still have enough resources in the bank to, you know, run this thing. But hopefully we can find some friends nice and quickly. So eventually I will have a second turret here. So this is the last time we're going to be using a minimum gauge railguns. We'll be moving over to 100mm next, which is my personal favourite since I find them the most reliable. Then 250 and then probably just 500. We could go with something like 300mm as well, or 330. I know a few good builds for that, but we'll see just how many designs we go through. Right now, this gun is fun and actually viable. Soon it won't be. Making the most out of it while I can. Hello, friends, portals, anything? I think that's a plunderer, right? Pilferer, rather. Okay, that thing's about 70,000 cheaper than we are, so yeah. Well, actually, no. It's a bit less than that. We're about 190 now. To see if we're actually in range before unloading everything. Yes, we definitely are. Now, the problem with this gun, although its fire rate is awesome, it doesn't last all that long. We can only really fire for about 60 seconds before having like a 30-second reload, so hopefully I'm not wasting all my ammo at range. We are hitting with everything there. We didn't really get to see the devastation, but it was enough to just carve straight through it. Just wanted to make sure we weren't losing too much health, and nope, our layered armor on everything survived incredibly well. Fantastic. I would like to save up 100k resource so we can get the second gun up and running and lower this front section here. Then we need to raise this gun. So this gun's going to go back here, this gun will be lower, then we can add some munition defense here, and I do expect I'm going to be expanding the craft sideways as well eventually. There's a red portal and a shippy ship. Look, it's ship-shaped. I do not know which one this is. It's so small, yet so expensive for its size. Okay, warrior, let's fight. I'll let my guns reload first. I'm using exclusively belt-fed loaders since they're more space efficient, though they are very expensive, but these do have a reload phase. Normal auto loaders can take ammo while you're firing. Belt-fed loaders can either fire or reload. That's all they can do. Once they start reloading, they won't let you fire until they're fully reloaded. Might as well fire what's left then. just to force a reload phase. This probably won't destroy it. This thing's probably got a better armor than the last target since it is actually on its watch. I love this gun so much, it's unbelievable. Oh, there we go, and the auto-loaders are failing. So I'll now hold fire, that will trigger the reload phase, and we can move on. So the auto-loaders will also start reloading by themselves, even if they're not fully depleted, if you haven't fired for, I think, 30 seconds. You can actually change that to make it far higher or far lower, if you wish. My stamina today is plaguing me. The actual enemy is the stamina we had along the way. That did not do as much as I thought. Yeah, the fragments are fun, but as soon as the enemy starts layering armor, there's just not enough armor penetration. Even if we start firing the shells faster, maybe with an 8 armor penetrating head. Gonna need to swap soon. Which is a shame, because this is fun. Ooh, what are you firing at? Is it me or... Yeah, me. Maybe I've destroyed your detection systems, because that was terrible. And then you hit me in the face, which... rude. Okay, some of the auto-loaders are reloaded. Great, let's go for the core. Oh, I have also added inertial fuses finally to these shells, which means if they do get deflected by a shield, they are still at least throwing their fragments everywhere. Okay, I would say we should go to 30 with this gun, because why not? I just want to see how far we can get with just this one single gun, to be completely honest. This will be the last one, though, before we change everything up. So once again, going to try and save up for around about 100,000 resource. Then, these guns are gone forever, and it feels like just yesterday I built them. Because it was yesterday I built them. Ah. Oh, reload phase! Not what I wanted to see right now. Full speed ahead, please. Let's keep away from these things. And I'm going to increase your energy per shot. Sure, 200 doesn't sound like much, but considering the fire rate, that is a lot. Did they fire at us? That was a weird movement to do. Come on, line up again, please. Burning energy again, moving this quick. There we go. Last one. How dramatic! Welcome to difficulty 30. Oh, blue portal. Hello, hello, hello. Okay, so if we go through the blue portal, that's going to increase our difficulty by 25, I think? 20 or 25, regardless. But it will also give us a safe area to build, essentially meaning we have the designer mode in the main game itself. I am so tempted to get maybe 150 or 2,000 resource, say 200,000 resource here, which will allow me to have fun with this silly gun a little bit longer, and then we have another big renovation, and we go for the 100mm for difficulty 50 odd. We could do that. If I just ring the adventure bell a few times and just have a load of fights with the little machine guns we have. That is incredibly tempting. So I'm 190,000 resources now, or 195,000 resources now. Going to 400k for difficulty 50 is fine. Super tempted. Adventure bell has been rang. Let's see what it summons. I saw the lag, so there we are, over there. Scarlet Dawn. Angry at my terrible attempt at making one of you, huh? The velocity. Can you see me? Hello, automatic detection is not set to 0, so you should be able to see me even if you are blind. Seriously, automatic detection is set to 0.1. Not enough to actually aim at something, but enough to know that everything else exists. That's to help you. I don't even need detection systems. I'm all manual at the moment. Oh, is it seeing me? It's seeing me! Maybe. I don't really know what's going on. Yay, confusion. caused some fires, so something's just went up. I'm guessing fuel. Aim for the back again, I guess. Okay, so apparently in this version of the game, the velocity is bugged. That is incredibly disappointing, so I don't know what the velocity is meant to do. But I'm guessing it's meant to be able to fire. Does it have something which would make sense why it's not firing or doing anything? Missiles? Are they torps? Does it fire as torps and it's registering us as being too high up? Oh, wow, that is a really cool design. Oh my god, I'm sorry. I'm sorry I said mine looked anything like a Scarlet Dawn, because that's cool and mine's a lump. Yeesh. That took a while. Well, that's a swarm. Oh, look at that! Again, deep water designs I have no idea exist, still manage to shock me. The Tortuga and its little tiny minions. The cormorants. Okay, it's actually a decently expensive craft. Right now, though, I am reloading after loading several thousand shells into the air to try and take out that last thing, so I'm going to just stay back while the reload phase goes on. And don't worry, this will be the last design I use belt-fed loaders for. I kind of hate them, but I wanted a small design which just fires loads of shells, and boy, do belt-fed loaders fit the bill. I could just fire a few shells. You know what, yeah, let's just fire everything I've got. Force the full reload so it's all nice and neat, and just see what we can do at this distance. I'm not too scared of the cormorants. I think just one shot will probably just kill them because how small they are, even with these tiny shells, but you potentially have quite a lot for your cost. Because of your cost, rather. Though, by the looks of things, you also have a lot of empty space with nothing in there, so firing at just your bulk isn't going to help. Some missiles there, probably defense ones by the looks of things, interceptors, your main guns on the front. Okay. So try and fire at the front or the core underneath the water. Oh good, reload fires. Let's back up. Okay, as all the cormorants either destroyed or damaged so much for not really doing anything. Unload everything on the front of that craft. Okay, looks like the back has similar weapons, so right on the front, right at the back, don't go for the center. That's what I'm going with right now. Just turn off the Tortuga's weapons. Oh, actually, never mind. There might be some in the center as well. The whole thing's made of guns randomly scattered around, isn't it? Ha! Bounce! Bouncing is fun. I am made of rubber. You are made of glue. So on and so forth. Wasted too many shells on the cormorants. Should have been firing at you. Running out of energy. Lower our drive. Oh, one cormorant still in the air. Ow. Oh, you're using the, like, shotgun simple weapon. Oh, I respect that. You're the razor build. Oh, were they all called different things? I didn't even pay attention. I'm so sorry. Because they are actually really cool designs. Oh, looking over here. Okay, the front's been just blasted away. There's one gun's on the side. Cool. Really are showing the weakness here of belt-fed loaders. If you can just destroy an enemy, belt-fed loaders are fantastic, but as soon as you have to have the reload phases, suddenly you become so vulnerable. Okay, aim at the core, but slightly under the water. Let's see if we can hit any of the vitals. I think I saw an explosion then, though. It's not saying any explosive damage. Where are your vitals? There we go. In the butt. Vitals are always in the butt. Oh, bugger. Okay, I was just adding some more storage since I was out. Oh, have you taken out one of my jets? Yes, you have, because I am bouncing more than I should be. I do not have the energy for this fight. It's the third fight in a row, and I am running dangerously low. What are you? You are the Pilferer. Okay, Mr. Pilferer. At least you're a vulnerable craft. You know what? Stop moving. All energy goes to the weapon just to try and take this thing out, and then we just sit there in the water reloading for a while and getting our energy back. That's it. Keep going. Against any enemies with vulnerabilities, these are the types of shells you want. Do I still have some? I thought all of you were in the ground. Water. Underwater. Drowning. Wait, are you something else? Oh my god. Lynx. Okay, shells are now going absolutely max speed. You can't get them any faster than this without adding some railgun pieces to the shells themselves. 1,200 meters per second. Makes them a lot better anti-air. Also, I think this one has been fighting this one. Where's the other one gone? And they've both kind of knocked each other out a little bit, so neither of them are able to be properly controlled. So, yeah. Where did the blue portal go? That's green. That's red. That's blue. These were colour lessons with Lathwicks. So I think what I'm going to do is make this thing quite teardrop shaped, similar to things like the Singularity. I guess that's kind of teardropped, heart shaped, whatever. Big ol' butt, and then going more into a finer point at the front. Arrowhead shaped, that's a better way of saying it, but the front still being fairly flat because, I don't know, I never built this kind of aesthetic. I kind of want to try my hand at it, and clearly my first attempt is a stick, but let's ignore the stick. And that'll have plenty of space for armouring the turrets, along with plenty of space for just all of our engines and everything else, with the gun still in the middle. So main gun in the centre will take up a much larger space in the very core, then we'll have a smaller secondary gun at the very front. Then if we want any munition guns, any anti-munition guns, we can put them on the sides. So yeah, we definitely need a lot more resource for that. Also, you may notice I'm currently moving very, very slowly, because this allows me to get more energy back per second. 27 meters per second suddenly feels excruciating. Oh, not another swarm! Please stop with the swarms! They can't kill me, they're just incredibly annoying. Barracuda? Look at me remembering a name. An ice special. No, stay slow. With cram cannons, they're not going to hit us at this range, but they have advanced cannons, because of course they do. Stop. Oh, that's too bouncy. You're gonna miss too many shots. Move closer. All the others are getting close to me anyway. Should have spent more resource on some more RTGs, but I thought, no, let's save up. You can always tell that I'm a bit more tired than usual, because suddenly I start singing, and with my singing voice, that is a war crime. Get those fragments into the core, let's flay some flesh. Oh, my energy is so low. You know what, go for the back section. Let's take out that bloody propeller. Oh, they're saying that with all the fire currently going on, I think that thing's heading into the water anyway. It hit the core and it's melted everything. Stop with the sheer amount of shots! Okay, good, you're not all that agile compared to some of the other ones earlier. My heartstone detonated. Why did my heartstone detonate? I am not losing to a bloody swarm. Okay, let me put down a backup heartstone for a second. I do not know how that was hit. That's in the core with me. Essentially, I should be hit if the heartstone gets hit, so I'm thinking maybe it's just an energy thing. Maybe I don't have enough extensions to it, so it wasn't draining enough power compared to everything else. I mean, we are in the water because of the energy, so I'm assuming that. Is one of my barrels gone? Hello? Oh my god, Josh managed to take out a barrel. That's how. You! I did not notice one of them had a cram bomb. Oh, who are you? How are you still alive, Barracuda? Stop hitting my heartstones. This should not be a difficult fight, and you're making it a difficult fight, and it is rude. I don't really have any repair bots on the craft yet, on a side note, so this is going to take a while to repair. Okay, it's not firing at us, so let's just sit still. I can't control the craft's movement moment. Okay. Come on. There we go, okay. Let's make a secondary vehicle to heal this vehicle, and then we're go- Is there still another flyer? I loathe you. Note to self. From now on, look at what the swarms are and focus on them. Please, nothing else spawn in for just give me 5 minutes this time, please. Now, although we went down, it was mostly because we ran out of energy, and I think we would have done fine if we weren't fighting so many back-to-back-to-back. Overall, I am actually pretty happy with how my craft handled that. No internals were breached, and the only major damage was one of the barrels was severed. Wasn't even fully removed, so that shouldn't take too long to repair. So after looking back at the footage and looking at the craft, it turns out I'd accidentally made a weak point right here. I'd added this jet light into the building of this, and because of that, I'd heightened the armor by like 3 levels, which means this only had 1 layer of light armor protecting the entire room. A cramshell managed to hit underneath the craft, and it completely detonated everything. Now, what I need to do is move all these out of this room, but I'll do that when we do the rebuild. Just, yeah, note to self. This room needs to be better protected in the future. And, please, separate vitals if possible. There's also no EMP protection yet because, well, we're not really seeing any EMP, and that really needs to happen as well. I have some around the batteries, but none in this room. That'll happen later. Oh, I know what you are. I remember fighting you in the fire-only run. Carnage? Chaos? Carnage. Yeah, I remember you being annoyingly sturdy, which I think is a lot of heavy armor on the inside. Either way, I'm going to get closer before I fire, because that thing's going to be bouncing around, and I'm not firing the super fast shells anymore because they were taking too much energy. Close enough? Yes. Where do I fire? You know what? Side. Go for a side. Try and not hit directly on the front. I can only imagine that's where most of his armor is. Yeah, like there. Go for the wing a little bit. There we go. Explosive damage dealt. Can we completely sever that wing? Pretend we're making fried chicken. Not sure. It doesn't seem to have shields as well to make it even more annoying. Oh, come on. There we go. Some fire damage done. Does it change target? It's hard to... Yeah, I think it's changed target, but it can't decide. Either way, we've caused some fire, so I can only assume that was fuel. How have we done armor-wise? Incredibly well. Jeez, incredibly well. You can hardly see what's even hit. Lovely. Good, the stacked armor was too much for its laser system anyways. It's back off now. Stop with the flyers. I want to test against something like a big old battleship. But no. Reloading. I hate belt-fed loaders with passion at this point. Things I could have improved on. So many with this gun. Still love the gun. But my god of the annoyance is stacking up. Whoa, what are you? Okay, you're probably going to win this fight. Because I don't think lasers are going to do anything against you. So I'm just going to sit this one out and fight the victor. After I've already heavily weakened the Carnage. If we've gone inside, there's also a chance we've taken out some of the laser systems, at least to a point. I can't really see where I've damaged inside. There's so many fires. Maybe I haven't. Maybe it's just a fuel storage I've managed to take out. Really hard to tell. Ooh, this thing isn't dealing as well with the lasers. Maybe it won't win. But if those crams can actually fire... Not me! So one of your systems is telling you to chase that, but the other system is telling you to fire at me. Well, that's just silly, isn't it? Maybe if it actually fired at the right target for once, it might win, but at this rate, it's going to be very slowly defeated. On the upside, this means we can aim at the back of this craft, which can only be fun times for us. Wow, even shielded at the back. Impressive. Okay. I was about to say I'm going to stop firing, because I'm actually now scared of the other craft. Thank you, stacked armor. Didn't get through. And instantly starting a fire in that craft as well. Again, vitals, always in the butt. And down it goes. I'm annoying. Dramatic spin. Okay, so enemy over there, that is Deepwater Guard. I know this one, don't know its name, but I know what it is. The Albacore. And I also sense some more lag because of Swarm! Because of course it is. Please, can this enemy go down so we can just grab the resources and go? I would love to leave this area now. I finally took out the Carnage, and now there's a fight between these two. So it's a Deepwater Guard, the Albacore, versus... I think it's Steel Strider? The Ascension. Wow, the Ascension is expensive. Okay, well at least after this fight I'll definitely have enough resources to go. Please stop hitting me when I'm not even involved. Oh, where are those cram shells coming from? I'm guessing the minions of the Ascension. Yep. Oh, that looked... Okay, note to self. Ascension minions, kind of brutal. These little lads. I'm just going to leave it until they're both done and then just fight, because I'm not going to waste any time. If they're not shooting me right now, you know what, I really should have had some repair bots for outside of combat healing. Oh, okay, looks like the Albacore is dead? Yeah, Albacore dead. These win, well done. I was just adding more resource storage then and got completely distracted. Please say you're easy to kill, because I know your cram cannons are actually pretty scary. Good, pretty easy to kill. Then we get to see how much damage the... Ow. How much damage the Albacore did to the, I forgot your name again, but let's have a look-see anyway. The Ascension. Yeah, you're pretty badly damaged. Cool. Front weapons are still there, though. Not sure if they're online or not, but they're still there. Ooh, where are you firing missiles from? Let's go for the cannons we know which are online first. It can't be far off being destroyed. I mean, it's in the water, so if it just takes enough damage to start sinking a little bit more, like an engine or something goes. Now I see some fire, so I think I hit an engine, or some fuel. I have no idea how I'm going to edit that together to be cohesive, considering it was like the last 40 minutes of my life. But okay, here we go. We are now through the blue portal. We have 242,000 resources to play with, which is more than enough to completely upgrade the whole of this thing and change our gun into its new version, which will not be using belt-fed loaders, hurrah, and will be at least 100mm. That will, of course, then be upgraded later to be much bigger. So I'll be back in the sandbox mode, because it's the easiest build there than here, where we're going to be changing up the shape completely. No longer a weird stick. It's a brand new day, I've got my energy back, and here we are with the design version 2. Hopefully a bit more interesting to look at. Obviously the painting job isn't done yet or anything like that, a few details still need to be finished off, but this is the basic idea. Still trying to stay with the idea of this thing being a sort of spacecraft or cruiser or something. Now, although it doesn't look that much bigger than the old design, it really is, especially here at the back. We're going to have plenty more space, especially once I break through all these walls, for our main gun. So, at last, we're going to be leaving the belt-fed loaders behind, so no more reload phases, but this does mean we are going to need way more space. We are still going to go with the 100mm shells, but I think I'm going to go with the 2-meter length, rather than the single. We'll do some tests in a little bit. I would love this gun to be a heat or a HESH type gun, so bigger shells tend to be way more effective with that. Now at the front, we do have enough space for a secondary weapon, though I don't know if we're going to have the resources straight away. So maybe a small anti-munition gun, though likely not. At least not to begin with. So with that, let's start making this thing functional. We have like 400,000 resources to play with, maybe a little bit more. I have apparently added too much heavy armor to this thing. Yes, at the front there's basically a big heavy armor block. I'm about to move all this stuff and I was going to add another line here, and then there's a heavy armor shell going from here all the way to the back. I think that's a bit much. Maybe more on the gun, less on the heavy armor. Got it. So I've changed my mind about two things. First of all, we're going to be using 200mm shells rather than 100mm, and then also we're going to be using HESH shells rather than heat. So with HESH, how this works is it causes a shockwave that destroys enemies' walls and causes internal spalling, which just means fragments spawn inside of the enemy. So this is really good, in my opinion, against kind of medium to small sized enemies that can't have a lot of air gaps inside and can't really hide all their more vulnerable sections from the outer wall itself. But at the same time, if the enemy has a higher armor value, these little fragments do more damage. They have more armor penetration value themselves. So if you have an internal layer of wood or stone or something lighter, these do less damage. I think I explained it okay, but I'm sure people in the comments could explain it better than I just did. In essence, it breaks walls and causes internal damage in the process. That's all I need to know. I was going to go for the Aero Tyrant, but okay, this thing has actually almost killed me once. I know it has a particle cannon and missiles. At least I know it's a particle cannon for sure. So let's have a proper fight then. Both of us have our weapons active. This particle cannon's like in its core, I think, so I'm hoping by just shooting there we'll get to it eventually. There is no way that particle cannon's still active. Okay, where would I put... Oh! AI dead! Never mind, we won! Well, good first showing. Missiles have hit, and have not pierced any vital areas. Good. Fantastic first test. This thing is about 200,000 more than us, and is in a godly design which we won't see for a long time. Good, good, good. How about the Aero Tyrant as well? Because I know this thing is surprisingly difficult to take out. Instant chain reaction shot there. Good start. I think we messed up its turning. It's been trying to turn for so long. There we go, okay. I never know where to fire with this thing. It's like, do I try and destabilize it with the wings or go for the core? I have no idea where the vulnerable sections are, despite the fact I've fought like maybe 20 plus of these throughout all the different adventure modes. It's just difficult to actually take out. How about kind of there? That's where I would put some of the vulnerable... Yeah, there we go. Must have taken out its ammo store. There goes the entire tail. Yes, I am very, very happy with this shell type. Nice and reliable. Okay, let's paint this thing, finish off the insides, then we're good to go. It'll cost close to 500,000 when it's done. So I'll have a little bit spare, so we can start doing some changes once we get some kills. Okay, well that took way too long, like about 6 hours, but this thing is finally done. So, the gun is now 130 rounds per minute, it's still 200mm, still using HESH, and the rest of the craft is just a big block of heavy armor. This thing is probably one of the most well-armored things I've ever made. I'm actually using heavy armor wedges, I'm making sure there's air gaps everywhere, in addition to layered armor. This thing should be incredibly difficult to destroy. And with its damage being quite reliable, I think it's going to be very, very nasty. So now, it's time to go to difficulty 50, and let's see how we can do. Also, I am aware the gun's way too far back here. The next time I upgrade this, I'm going to be extending the back section. This is going to be raised, and then we'll be adding the new front gun. So that's the plan. Probably once I have another 200,000 resource, something like that. Now, because of how heavy this thing is, it does kind of drift whenever I'm turning, but it is still decently responsive. We can go 70 meters per second. Okay, that is a lot faster than I expected for what is essentially, again, just a big old block of armor. I've rung the adventure bell. I want to fight straight away, and we have our first enemy over there. Oh, the Jelly Boy! I know you. You have particle cannons and are actually surprisingly difficult and easy to destroy. It all depends where you hit. You basically want to hit the headpiece there, because its weapon is just a rotating block of armor with the particle cannons inside. Okay, it's quite far away, so let's try and get a bit closer before we open fire. Though saying that, since we're not using belt-fed loaders, and we do have a lot of energy reserve, we could just waste some shots. Few hits there, and ooh, that's a lot of stuff that just fell out of its head. Oh, they are doing fantastically. It's hard to see, but lots of confetti's coming out of that, so we're probably hitting batteries and all sorts of things it wants to keep inside. Look how much confetti is coming. I love this gun. I do have a soft spot for Hesh. I don't know why, it just seems fun in comparison to heat and everything else. Well, it's horribly on fire. I'm going to stop firing now and get a bit closer. I'm not sure why it hasn't fired at us. We do have some basic detection, passively for the enemies. Maybe it's just the angle we were at. Maybe it was the range. I'm not sure. Oh, look what it's done. That's beautiful. Yeah, why are you not fighting back? Is it just because of our height? I'm sure you can attack enemies on the water. I'm almost certain of it. That is so pretty. Oh, that was a lot of lag. So what just spawned in? For that amount of lag, I'm expecting something big. Ah, Twin Guard. And you're holding a sword. And you're a bit too far back there, mate. Not quite catching up with your base, but I appreciate the effort. Well, the jellyfish is pretty much destroyed, so let's turn on the Twin Guard. Oh, actually, no, the jellyfish is Twin Guard as well, now I think about it. The jellyfish has returned to the water. Probably shouldn't go for the torso, but I'm going to anyway. Because it's a good test, since it'll keep being healed. Is that a nuke at the end? It's probably a nuke at the end. It's just pointing at me menacingly. Okay, fine, we'll go for the base. Oh, immediately! Ooh, that's a flippy flip. Ow! How are you faster than me? You're not really doing anything other than being incredibly annoying. Did you really push me into the water? No more good arm for you. Now, why isn't that doing any damage to me is the question. Maybe I've taken out its battery storage, so I think it's using the particle cannon thing to work. So if it has no power, it's not actually being able to draw anything. That was silly. Oh, look how fabulous you look, though. Trying to get this thing out of the water is a nightmare. Now remove all these quickly while we're still in the air. There we go. Okay, note to self, we need some mechanism to get out of the water. Before this, we were using mostly light armor, so it was quite easy just to bounce to the surface. That's not the case anymore, so... But saying that, I can't imagine that happening again. That was such a unique situation. I sense the lag. There it is. Something airborne this way. Is that the Aero Tyrant? The wingspan makes me think Aero Tyrant. No, the Aero Tyrant does not have anti-munition lasers. Oh, I don't know what it is, but we just caused the massive... No, it's the Aero Tyrant. I didn't know the Aero Tyrant had that. So knocked off one of its guns. So, as we've learned, we should be firing there when it gets a bit closer. Okay, keep going away as fast as possible, because it's not going to fire its missiles till it gets way closer. So until then, just keep on firing shells and hoping for the best. And I could go for the wing instead. Oh, there we go. I think let's hit the ammo store. Or its other gun. There's a gun on the back as well. A lot of explosions. Please don't unleash your payload. Come on, you can just sink instead. Go into the water, you know you want to. Everything's on fire. Oops. Oh, no. Bomb bays are opening. Try and damage the weapons if possible. See, this is why being able to go quick is good sometimes. Yep, it never got in range with its missiles, so it couldn't fire. Lovely. Oh, why shouldn't I have been trying to get glamour shots? There's an enemy attacking us. Hobgoblin! You know I play this game too much when I start identifying things from just the vague silhouette. Just try and turn around a bit. There we go. Cramshells all missing. Just keep going for the core. Already lots of explosions. There we go. It's going down. I'd like to fight a battleship or something. I'd like to see how the Hesh does there against something a bit more tanky. I mean, so far I've been incredibly happy with this gun. Seems like it's really reliable. That's going to be its main strength. It's not wowing me by, oh my god, we can one-shot every enemy we see. But it just seems to do well in every situation. Stop firing at me. Oh, there's another enemy. 55 is a hostile place. Is that a sub? Okay, well that's going to be a problem. I cannot fire at this thing. It's not the biggest, but I should probably run. Is there any red portals nearby? I mean, there's a green. We could do the weird option and actually go down a difficulty just to avoid the sub and then jump back up when we can. I mean, here's a railgun, I guess. So potentially we could actually hit this thing, but not at this range anyway. We'd have to get way closer, which means willingly going in range of its missiles. Not gonna happen. Sorry, I'm gonna leave that resource behind. I'm gonna run and try and find a red portal. Then we can do some upgrading with the resource we have once we're there. Slow down slightly so I get my energy back. Okay, just outrange it for a while. We have for once gone incredibly to the east. Normally I go towards the west because it means you have calmer waters, but I haven't really been bothering to pay attention. Another resource zone has appeared! I know that these are meant to be more interesting zones if you go towards the east, it's just worse weather. Maybe that means more resource zones? I don't know. If anyone wants to tell me how that exactly works with resource zones, feel free to tell me in the comments. For now, we're just drifting along. I've also added some more RTGs. The next time we upgrade, I am going to add a backup fuel engine, or steam engine, one of the two. At the moment, we're just completely RTG based because we use up so much power and honestly, it's way too resource intensive. Yay! At full 100% speed, we now gain energy. Fantastic. Hey everyone, Future Lathrix here, just here for the sake of full transparency to say in the first few fights of difficulty 60, I completely messed up. While in the sandbox mode, I was testing out different damage types and I changed the damage factor down to 0.3 and then forgot to change it back before going into the adventure mode again. What this means is that everything was dealing 30% of the damage it was meant to deal. Now thankfully that does also affect us, it's not really a benefit for us, but it will make all the fights look a little bit weird and act differently to how they really should. So you're going to see some weirdly high damage numbers, but less damage being dealt until the last fight of difficulty 60. In the future, I'll be double checking to make sure this is set to 1. Normally, the only thing we have which isn't the default in the adventure mode is the automatic detection accuracy, which I set to 0.1, which is a benefit for the enemy, and only the enemy, to make sure they can see where we are at all times. Sometimes when they spawn so far away, they simply can't see us, so giving them some automatic detection is pretty useful. Since we're not even using AI yet in this run, that does absolutely nothing for us. So with that, back to the adventure mode, and this won't happen again. Well, we've finally reached difficulty 60. I'm going to finally add some laser protections to this thing, so smoke everywhere. And I'll be making these invisible later, because I hate how they look. And this thing does not need help to look weird. Okay, we have a friend. Oh, it's the one with the really annoying little shield on the front, isn't it? It's like holding a little physical shield, I think, if it's what I'm thinking of. Well, good time for us to add our smoke defense. It's not completely operational yet, but any smoke is good. I mean, I could try and take out the propellers, but I feel like we'd have to take out all of them to have the desired effect, though it would also be fun to watch. Oh. Or you're gonna be that annoying. Okay, I see how it is. We appear to be on fire. Can I just get them past the armor there? A little bit, yes. Well, I've taken out its face. Oh, I can see vulnerables. Come on. There we go. Look at all those lovely things exiting the body. Hopefully with our stacked armor and the little bit of smoke we have, we probably didn't take all that much damage then. Though I do still hear fire. How on fire are we currently? Ooh, rude. Don't really know what it's hit, which is super flammable. If we hit our ammo store, we would have known about it, this is the thing. I don't have fuel because I'm using RTGs only at the moment, so I guess heavy armor itself is technically flammable if you can break through it, so it could just be that. There you go, shield's been let go. Yay, removed one of the fans at least, one of the propellers. Just keep on breaking through. Let's see if we can take out that other laser system if possible. That would be grand. I'm imagining the connection points are gone now. What a painful looking kill. That was just mean. Nice. Wait. How did we capture the shield? Okay, I only have like 5 repair bots, and apparently I managed to get back to full health already, so we obviously took very little. But please explain how we managed to capture the shield in that run. Oh, you're still firing missiles. I should probably be paying more attention. There we go. Okay. I still can't figure out how I managed to capture this thing, but either way I've added some repair tentacles so we can now heal it. Does it have an AI or anything else, or is it just a big block of metal? No, it's just a big block of metal. It has no brain. Cool. What an interesting trophy we have now. Now, I could make it turn, like the last enemy did, but I think I'm just going to keep it here like this, and it's just for decorative purposes. I want at least one more fight in difficulty 60, and then we'll go to the sandbox mode, do some upgrading, and go to 65. Oh, hello. Mr. Twin Guard. Now, if I recall correctly, this thing's got a lot of armor on the underside. So I'm hoping some of these just about bounce into the top section. Oh, do not go through the portal by accident. Okay, a few hits I wanted there, but then now we're kind of stuck where we don't want to be. I guess take out the turret. Stop getting crams everywhere, that'd be great. Then take out the laser targeters. Or take out everything around the laser targeter. Yep, that was a misfire from the crab. Oh, no, it still can fire one. One more laser targeter. Well, I guess they're in sets of two, we get the point. There we go. And now the cram cannon again. Lots of armor, but thankfully all the vitals weren't too difficult to take out there, so that's the enemy disabled. Yeah, that looks like armor wedges, am I right? Yep. That's actually heavy armor. Oh, look, we've got through to the gun, though. The, railgun. So I think I'll turn that off. Yep, that's everything gone. The power of Hesh. Splish. I'd say from a distance, that's Steel Strider. Do I just want to go through the portal, or do we want to fight this thing? I mean, it's not Twin Guard, which is nice, so sure. I haven't seen many White Flyers or Grey Talons, actually, in this run. Unless I'm going insane and forgetting a few. That is really chunking, and that is lightning hoods, I think. I mean, yeah, green lasers are the only ones who do that, so let's get closer to that thing. Let's see if we can score some hits. I think I've mostly disabled this thing, right? Has some missiles, but that's about it. I'm gonna say yes. Oh wow, that turret actually comes out of the hull. I mean, it did. Two quite small enemies. Can we get that huge chunk of superstructure to fall off all at once? That would be so satisfying. There we go, lovely. And now to visit the lightning hoods again. Sure, there are better shell types, but I really like these. And we have a victory. Okay. Into the portal, and into the sandbox mode to do some more changes. Always one of the most fun parts with upgrading a vehicle or just building a new one is the kind of blueprint stage when you're just throwing shapes together. So we're going to be making the center a lot wider. Rather than having the central piece more in the back section, it'll be more in the middle. Then it's going to taper off both forwards and backwards. This way, we can have a serious main gun. Yes, I'm still going to have more than one turret this time, because we've been lucky so far the turret hasn't been destroyed, though also that is thanks to how much armor this thing has. So we are going to extend this so it's about this tall. Then we're going to have a minor gun on the front, potentially at the back eventually. Broadsiding wouldn't be a terrible idea, or we could potentially even have a spinal mounted weapon, as long as we can make this thing turn fast enough. That would be very easy to protect. Though I do prefer turrets. Not too sure. You get the idea I'm going with. So I have around about 200,000 resources to play with. So that should hopefully be enough. At least to make some starting changes here. I think it's the Sovereign or something similar in the Scarlet Dawn, which has a back section similar to this with its jets. And with this much space, we could eventually use the custom jets, which are incredibly powerful, though also very fuel hungry, so I'll have to be able to toggle them on and off. For now, we're just going to use the regular jet engines, since we can just power it via the RTGs. But this has plenty of space to upgrade it later, so the gun's going to go where the pillar is, though we could put it a little bit further back to line up with this. So maybe I'll do that instead. We have way more space on the left and right now. Yeah, so I think I'm going to change the gun from 200mm to 300mm. And that shouldn't leave us with much resource left, but hopefully enough to completely armor up the rest of this. I think this will look decent, I hope. Maybe. You can tell I'm very confident with my building skills. Way less satisfying than doing that manually, but there we go. So this is all going to be opened up now, and it's going to be used for the main gun. That's going to be more than enough space for me to upgrade it over time as well, because this is going to be like 3 to 4 times the space we had before. Then all this can be armor, so this RTG core there can be better protected. It's probably the last vulnerable place I actually had, so that's wonderful. Not too sure about the overall shape. Do like the back section at the moment. I like how I'm kind of doing these little tiers, which I'll try and blend a bit more in the future. I think this has the potential to look good, but sadly it's me building it, so good luck. Character for scale. This is the kind of area we're going to have to play with for our new 300mm gun. Probably going to be sticking with Hesh. We'll do some test firing in a second. Think I need to lower the floor a little bit though. Right now, yeah, 1 layer of armor, jets, and 1 layer of heavy armor. This thing's going to be popped as soon as something hits the bottom section. Which always ends up happening. Things ricochet off the water so much in this game. Or I could just move the gun up 1 or 2. It would be nice to have an air gap as well. There'll definitely be an air gap on both of the sides, and I want to work some air gaps into the main body as well. I'm tempted, honestly, to just remove all of these innards and redo it. After seeing some of the Scarlet Dawn vessels in this run, what I really kind of want to do is the wedges, which there are some at the front already, air gap, wedges again. And then just try to make sure we're always facing the enemy. Then I don't have to be that heavy duty on the sides. Not too sure. We'll see what happens as I build it. There's a specific type of railgun I've had to resist using up until this point, because it's probably my most used in all the videos, but I think it's finally time to use the shotgun railgun. So what that is pretty much unloading every single shell you have in a weapon all at once. What this means is that you have pretty much an unparalleled alpha strike. As you can see, this can cut through even all of these layers of armor instantly, and against small targets like we're going to see until really difficulty 80+, it's enough to one-shot them if all the shells land. Now, of course, the consequence of using this type of weapon is that now I'm in a really lengthy reload phase, because these aren't just little belt-fed loaders or 1mm loaders, these are 3m loaders, which have a far, far slower reload phase. Which wasn't as severe as I originally thought, but still took a while. Now there's 2 versions of this weapon. There's this version, which is the really silly one, going at absolute maximum fire rate, which completely obliterates the gun. And then there's another one. So the next version is pretty much the exact same concept, but less extreme. So rather than going with 2,400 rounds per minute per barrel, we're going to go with about 600. This means we don't need as many barrels straight away. By barrels, I meant to say barrel magnets. These things cost a fortune, they're 300 each, and are incredibly brittle and get destroyed very easily, but they also store the energy required for the railgun to work. If you fire loads of shells at once, you need all of that energy stored, because you just don't have time to refuel it using the charges. If we take it down to 600, we need far less of them, so straight away there is an advantage. So then after that, because the firing phase is a bit more staggered, it means we can actually swap targets in case we're missing some shells, we don't overkill the enemy with way more shells than needed, and those initial autoloaders, which are firing at the very start, have already started to reload, so the reload phase is way less obvious, at least in theory. There we go, reload phase now, but it shouldn't be as extreme as the previous attempt. On top of all that, it just needs way less energy per second and way less recoil suppression. It's just a much cheaper alternative. I also find that the damage propagation can be a little bit weird if you fire too many shells at once. I'm not sure if it's shells destroying each other or them both hitting the same block at the same time, but I just feel like the overall damage isn't quite as high. Sometimes. Still, 2 rounds, completely destroyed the enemy. This still gives us that lovely initial burst while giving us a bit more control. So this is what we're going with. Now you may be asking, why not just make the gun fire that fast all the time? And you can, if you have way more resources to put into it. That's the goal of that end design, to have guns just fire like this constantly. Okay, that's working great. So, this is our anti-munition weapon. It's got a low priority to fire at an enemy. However, if there's a shell present, it's got a very high priority to swap to that instead. It's using regular high explosive rounds rather than the anti-munition rounds, which means it's not going to be quite as good against swarms of smaller missiles, but it's actually doing damage against the enemy. I think it's about to kill this Moray, for instance. I don't think it's letting any cram shells through. Oh, now it will, because there's going to be some fail-safe problems. No, still going. The shells also have a timed fuse and are decently quick, so it should be good against like small planes and swarms as well. So it's an anti-swarm weapon and an anti-munition. It's not going to be the most effective anti-munition, but I think it's going to be a good all-rounder. I'm going to ignore the fact it just shot me, though. Cool. Now that's all set up. We can go back to finishing off the graft. Going to just jump to difficulty 65, then we'll start converting this thing into its new, far uglier form. I'm also now realising how much of an upgrade the new gun is compared with this one. It's going to be brutal, and I'm looking forward to using it against very large, very scary targets. Oh, that's just so not fair. Another enemy? Are you kidding me? I only just converted this thing. It's not even reloaded yet. We're under attack from I don't know what, but it has a lot of missiles which I do not want to get hit by. Just about outranging it. Second enemy has appeared. It is Twin Guard. I am going to run straight to 70 because I'm not really ready for this. Oh good, the big missile's heading towards me. That's what I wanted to see. I mean, I guess we could stick around. We can outrange that so easily. But then you're going to be the bigger threat, and I'm not going to be able to really hit something that small at this range. Stupid choice, I'm going straight to 70. My voice completely broke there. Apparently if my voice disagrees with this choice. I think there's already an enemy nearby. I just felt a bit of lag. Yep, and it is nice and far away from us. Great. Hunchback? No, not Hunchback. I don't actually know what it is from its silhouette. Actually, is it the Hunchback? That could actually be the Hunchback, and I could just be going mad. Hopefully we have enough firepower here to cause some major problems. Yep, that's some major problems, alright. Ooh, if I waited a little bit longer, I could have fired at its rear, which would have been even better. Lots of internal fires right now, which means we've hit something very vital. There's the Hunchback, isn't it? This thing is very sturdy. Oh, look at that! We hit this obvious section we shouldn't have hit, and whoa. Yeah, that was a lot more expensive than that at the start. Okay, turn around. Our rear is definitely our more vulnerable section. That's a lot of missiles. Will we hit if we fire now? That thing's going to be moving quite a bit. Go for the same spot. It's not really where I should have been firing at originally, but now we've already broken through. May as well take advantage of it. There we go. Lots of vitals coming out there. How are we looking? Whoa! Okay, this is actually a giant air gap at the moment, so I don't know why I'm so surprised. There's nothing here! But, cool! The outer armor's just been removed, but all the internal armor where it's all stacked is fine. Yeah, there's just a load of big air gaps there because I'm scared of heat. This will all get filled in later, so actually, I think we've stood up pretty well, all things considered. Chunk of lag there, which I'm hoping is just this thing dying. Oh, nope, it definitely isn't. No, I hear missiles. White flyers? Definitely white flyers. Go over there, there's several guns at the front. Hopefully stays distracted by the remains of the hunchback. Then we can get a bit closer and guarantee our accuracy. Yeah, the hunchback isn't even firing except for the missiles now. And the particle cannons are firing at us. Okay, no problem. Actually, where should I fire on this thing? A few shells everywhere there. Just rain down, hopefully hit a vital or two. There goes a turret. There goes another one. Is that one still firing? Yes, it is. Once I reload, I'll fire there. We're still surviving despite being shot by lots of particle cannons and lots of pretty much everything. Reloading phase, very annoying. Okay, the hunchback is definitely dead. I should definitely destroy that. Where's the other particle cannon? Oh, there it is in the front, tiny little thing. Okay, I think we have completely disabled it. I'm not sure which white flyer that was, but good. Good first showing of the gun, especially. And all the internal armor. Yeah, the internal armor wasn't really breached anywhere. We lost pretty much no vitals. Just the outer shell. I kind of built this thing too big, as you can tell. I couldn't really fill it up correctly, so it was a shell at the front, and it just took the damage beautifully. Let's reload. Any chance at all we can split this thing in half? Because that would be really fun. It's underwater, so a lot of these shells are going to bounce. But come on, just a few more hits. I feel like it's one hit away. Oh no. There are just unlimited enemies at the moment. Oh, I'm almost out of power. He's hoping these hit. They are slow shells, and that thing is moving quick. If it course corrects, all these are going to miss. Yeah, they missed. They didn't actually get taken out, though, thankfully, by the looks of things. Okay, quite a few hits. And again, quite a few hits. Some explosions, but no fires or anything. Ooh, though, I think that is not meant to be turning that way. Our vehicle is a menace even when injured and chased out of a difficulty. Man, my stamina is trying to kill me today. Into the water you go. Ah! I wonder what hit. Doesn't look like we've done that much damage, but again, it is Hesh, so it's hard to say what we have actually done. Oh, we took out some jets. These are probably damaged. Yep. Huh. Okay, we should have enough for at least a full repair. Welcome to difficulty 70. Not only did we have enough armor for full repair, I'm now properly armoring up everything. So we've just added in the wedges at the front, though I have added them in the wrong direction. I'll change it in a second. And I'm now working on adding armor all along the side, so it's not just a one thick shell with then the internal armor. So this should be a lot sturdier than it was before, and clearly before, it could already take a beating. So that's going to be finished off. Probably won't have enough resources for the gun until I've had at least one more fight, and then that'll be that. I have also added a couple of fuel engines, which I need to set up now to be only active when the electric engines are completely overwhelmed. So backups, basically. Finally finished repair... Of course, there's enemy. Anyway, I'll finish what I was saying. Finally finished repairing, win a resource zone, because sadly, all the extra armor was a little bit overly ambitious. I've just added over 100k armor, and it's mostly heavy armor. This thing should be a lot sturdier than it was before. That is, I don't know, but it's obviously Scarlet Dawn. It is the Casimir. You know, in my head I thought Casimir, but I'll never be able to prove that. Okay, this range, the lasers shouldn't do that much, but also I'll likely miss my shots. Just fire a couple, may as well. Any chance of a few hits? Oh, I should have just held down fire, apparently, because that was a good few hits. There we go, crush that side! Goodbye! Took off the wing by the looks of things, so a completely destabilizing attack. Missiles and EMP, that won't do anything. Lovely. In fact, we looked at the front, where all the damage was dealt, it didn't even get through there. Lovely. Now, I just saw a good bit of lag, so before I say lovely for a third time... Was there another one, or was it just that one exploding? Nope, there is another enemy. It's a single nuke. Kind of wish I had a little flat gun now, because trying to hit that is going to be an absolute nuisance, isn't it? Oh, bugger. Oh, ended in the water. Never mind, it was easy. Good. I'm going to stick around for one more fight, I think, so we have a full load of resources, and then we'll head on to the next difficulty. So happy I added so much more armor to this thing. The weak spot now is definitely the back section, especially where the custom jets are. I don't really have enough to completely encase those. And I would say probably if you just hit the turret cap enough. It's got a lot of heavy armor inside, it's even got a little bit of a space gap, but nowhere near as much as the turret itself or the front or anything like that. Oh, it's the turtle sub, right? So this thing stays underwater making its turtley noises for a long time and occasionally surfaces with that massive gun. So what we need to do is be ready when it surfaces and also start facing towards it, because I think its crams are actually terrifying, if I remember correctly. Because it basically spends all the time underwater refilling them. Fire now, I'm just going to miss by a mile. Feels mean hunting a tortoise, but a tortoise! A tortoise! It feels mean hunting one. I just hit myself, didn't I? Yeah, I did. Ow. Any chance you're gonna surface anytime soon? You know, normally this would be edited, but I am guaranteeing that Future Lathrix is gonna just leave this in to show how long you have to wait for this kind of fight, if you don't have anti-sub weapons. Oh, looks like it's... Look at his little fins! What a weird twin guard. Oh, it's even called the Timid, just to make you feel really bloody bad. I mean, to be fair, you feel less bad when you see all the cram shells heading towards your face, but still, the point still stands. Any chance? We're wasting everyone's time at home. This is probably going to kill my average viewership, because people are going to be clicking off. Lob the shells! Well, we took out the cram cannons, that's his weapon gone. Those shields are good. But without the cram cannon, we've basically de-armed it, which means we could just leave it alone. And I kind of am tempted... Oh, I've taken out its leg. Okay, you know what? Put it out to misery. Where would the vitals be? I guess on his little adorable belly. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think it can go underwater anymore. I feel bad, you can all feel bad too. Oh, I've just got back to the resource zone again. Oh, and I was testing out barrel length with different numbers and everything, so ignore the fact my barrels are currently stretchy. Obviously lightning hoods, the green laser, but I don't know what else is. Still don't know, still don't know, still don't know. Okay, I think that thing is a particle cannon. Though I might be mistaken, and it's not actually firing yet, which means it's going to probably try and get closer, so we shouldn't really waste our shots just yet. The laser seems to be more a backup weapon since it was doing... I literally can't see any blocks falling off that graph. That's how little damage it's doing. Don't know about the missiles. Let's go for the front. It's got like a big chunk of armor there, so I assume that's got some vitals in. Yep, that front got removed, and splish. I would like a bigger target, I will say. This has been quite an easy difficulty 70 so far. The RNG has been very kind with the enemy types. Just things that I can fight well with this craft. The Hunchback. I'm gonna get nice and close, then unload everything and see what we can do. This thing is basically just a big chunk of armor on the front, and I want to see what happens if we just fire at a chunk of armor because we're done. Oh, yeah, the barrels are still ridiculously big. Fire. Of course, some explosive damage, so we got through the armor, I think. Oh, yep, fire at that underbelly, please. Any hits will be a major problem. Yeah, I see some jet damage there. Going for its side weapon, which is its main gun. It's basically got two very strong side guns. Oh, no, 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 no. My butt is also vulnerable. Let's move. Fire again at the same spot you were firing at before. Yep, seeing a lot of jet damage there. We've got straight through. Looks like our armor's holding up pretty well versus the onslaught, which is good to see because the Hunchback can do a lot of damage. This area here is basically just open. As I was about to say before we got attacked. I'm just going for the jets. I'm just going to be fighting every single airship in the game, aren't I? Just thrustercraft and airships, that's it. Well, I wouldn't say I played that particularly well, but we definitely survived, and the only areas that opened up. Okay, so got through to a little RTG section here, which should really be better protected than it is currently. Where the gun's gonna go got opened up, and that's just material storage at the moment. That was it. Cool. I love this gun. So much. Now, do I get a chance to actually sit at the resource zone and repair properly? Because that would be lovely. I'll be honest, I am tempted at this point to just keep on gathering resources until I have 500k, then going through the blue portal I found earlier, which is... I thought it was next to that green one, but it isn't too far away. It was near one of the other resource zones. That would take us to difficulty 90 odd. So we can go straight into the maximum size godlies. That would be fun. Plus, I'm really not loving the design of this craft still, looks-wise. Functionality, beautiful. One of my better pieces of work. Looks... It looks like the starter ship in the game FTL if it was made by someone who didn't know how to ship. Oh, I've been to the sandbox mode. I've added some more charges to the railgun, so hopefully now we can have faster shells and still sustain them. Where is the enemy? I do not know what you are. You are firing cram shells, though. Twin Guard? Oh, I think you're like that Twin Guard drone-looking ship, right? Kind of looks like a plane. Yeah, you. Okay, so... fire away, I guess. Yeah, much better with the faster shells. It means I don't have to get so close anymore. I can just make sure to keep pointing at the enemy. Note to self, more roll redundancy would be good. Look at that, cutting through all those armor wedges. Seriously, did you take out all of my roll pieces? If I remember correctly, this thing isn't as expensive as you might think. It's just incredibly hard to take out. Though saying that, we have already breached the cram cannon, so that's its main weapon pretty much gone now. As soon as I reload, just need to keep firing in that same area. Okay, let's solve the recoil and the roll, please. Even faster shells. Well, that cost an absolute fortune, but there we go. We have a bursty railgun with actually fast-moving shells. That's the last time I'll upgrade this gun now until the big renovation when we go through the blue portal. Have to resist not going for that gun in the center, since it is incredibly well protected. There you go, try and break open the side pieces. They have all the... everything, actually. Oh, and that was it. Hesh is doing so well, especially when you throw so many at the enemy. Such a cool design, but yeah, if you go for the gun itself, it's just so well protected. Love how they've done that. Like domes there. So cool. I was not paying attention, which shouldn't come as a great surprise at this point to anyone. That's actually shocking it didn't get to the controller there, but hopefully, there we go, goodbye. Lovely. Time to re-add that front gun, I think. Were those large missiles just pure fire? Because... ow. There we go. Turns out I didn't save that last anti-munition gun as a sub-object, so I'm gonna have to make it from scratch. Thankfully it's very simple, it's just 1 meter auto-loaders, lots of them everywhere, and 2 firing pieces. A super simple regular advanced cannon, not a railgun. Now, before we do that though, we've got to have a chat, because I am really tempted to basically flip this craft upside down and make it fly way higher. What I mean by that is that the main gun could go on the underside and we could be way higher up in the air. That way, we wouldn't have the issue of enemies being too close and our barrels not quite being able to shoot them without us shooting ourselves. We'd pretty much rain hellfire down from the skies. That's similar to some of the Scarlet Dawn craft. Now, I'm not going to summon them in, because otherwise I'll end up just copying them. But I'm fairly certain ones like the Sovereign, maybe it's a Sovereign, or the Crucible, I can't remember which, has the gun on the underside, and it has a similar style to what we're going with at the moment. I think that might be better. So once we go through the blue portal, I think that's what I'll end up doing, which means I will have to flip where all the armor is, since at the moment it's mostly on the top and less on the bottom. I think that's the best idea. It'll make us a lot better against things like the white flare crafts we've been seeing and things like the Megalodon in difficulty 100. Also, I need to just bite the bullet and remove all these jets on the underside. What we need to do is use custom jets. This means just flying in the air will cost us constant materials, but it also means we don't need this many jets, because we are way too heavy at the moment. I think I can lose only 3 of these before we slowly descend into the water. Okay, we're back from the sandbox mode, and oh, we're under attack straight away. And look, we can already fire at the enemy automatically. So what do we have here to fight versus our new weapon? We have something which probably doesn't have weapons we can fight against. Well, still. Oh, double. Good, and both lightning hoods. That's wonderful. It means we can't have them fighting each other. Well, a couple of missiles got shot down then, that's good. Oh, I've made the turret too slow moving, haven't I? Well, against multiple targets anyway, against one target, it's gonna be fine. Okay, first one's on fire and has dropped some resource, I think. No, it could be a flare. Yeah, it's taken out some. Please let me fire again. I'm gonna go for its jets, I think. Since it's a hydrofoil, it'll probably sink if it loses its forward momentum for even a moment. So if we can tear that back section apart. Oh, which also looks like it was holding its ammo stores. Which is always good. There we go. Same with you. Sure, we don't have smoke at the moment since the last change, but we do have loads and loads of armor. You are sinking, but not as much as I expected. Are you mostly made out of light alloy? That could be the case. Just do that. Okay, now we're safe from you. Where's the other one? We will survive any hardship. I can't wait to change my gun again. Okay, let's pause for a second. So you're still firing missiles, but you are in the water, and hopefully you'll be sinking soon. Oh, so it was mostly the fuel reserves and the back jets, okay? I'm looking like I love my armor. And you are still firing away quite happily. With pretty much everything, okay. As long as that main gun stays up. Okay, you're sinking, so let's just fire at anything I can. Why did it fire all the shells at once there at the end? No idea. Okay, all laser systems are offline from you. I might just run away then and get out of range of your missiles, which seems to be pretty close anyway. I think I need to change the settings on the munition system so it targets enemies which it can more likely hit. Stop chasing ones down for so long, even after they've gone past us. Well, if nothing else, proved we are made of armor. I mean, it's not much damage, but it's damage. I think one of my major flaws is how I'm using the craft, because I'm using it like I've used some of my other ones, and I should really just try and stay far away, make sure we're facing forwards, and deal with it that way. When I do the upgrade, I'm also going to be adding shielding, which will be on the front and the underneath, like here. So that's going to be even more important. So I also think I need to add some strafe controls. So that way we can strafe around the enemy rather than what I'm doing at the moment, which is just trying to headbutt them for some reason. It's just because other designs I've done lately have been a lot more get in their face sort of focused. It's hard to unlearn that. I think my detection system could be a little bit better. Some of the shots are going a bit wide. What a weird looking image. It's almost completely whited out. Well, it took a while. And we're showing why fuel engines, steam engines, and everything else are better than batteries and RTGs at the end game, if you don't mind losing resource, because we got to just continue at the end. However, I did run out of power for my railguns, which was a bit of a problem. Need some more storage, but we are getting close to 500k, although saying that, we are going to have to do a lot of repairs. So design-wise, what I'm going to do once we have the resource is basically copy this top section at the bottom here, have the gun literally flipped, extend this by maybe 3 blocks on both sides to give us space for the gun. And as for the gun itself, 500mm shells, 8-meter length. So as big as we can get, pure hesh, and I think I'll probably go away from the shotgun effect and rather just try and see how much stable RPM I can actually get. I think that makes the most sense. It's turning a bit weirdly, so I'm not sure if these shots actually hit. Whoa, that's a good munition defense. Tiger Shark? I think Tiger Shark. Now it's a bit more stable. Let's fire everything. Hopefully those missiles are just out of range. That would be fantastic. Well, we are firing at them regardless. Oh, big explosion. Here's hoping it was on them and not on us. It was not on us. In fact, 2 damaged. You see, this is how we should have been fighting the entire time. Point at the enemy. Lob the shells. It's what you do. I definitely took out some of them, but I think some of them may have also just run out of range. Although it was hit, though. Not too sure. Don't know what to do with the anti-munition stuff. Really, I should have used it earlier. I feel like if we want to make it really work in the super high difficulties, we're going to have to dedicate a lot to it. Oh yeah, we need more storage. Keep forgetting. I know this one's got a massive gun in the middle. It's one of the white flyer ships I've seen before. Okay, well, near 1 million damage there. Just from kinetic. I wonder what I've actually done to it. Lots of breakages here and there. A lot of rooms exposed. Honestly, quite unlucky with where the shots have landed. Kind of everywhere but the, How did you take out my front gun? And why? Why would you be so mean? This time, fire everything of that gun there in the middle. Surely that's gone, right? I'm not seeing any shots from it, I should say. In fact, only the bat gun seems to be really trying anymore. So maybe I was less unlucky than I thought with that first attack. Still don't know how I managed to take out that front gun, though. I say that. These are good shells from the enemy. I have defended the neck of the turret for once. It has heavy armor around it. There is space armor, there is layered armor, but sometimes... yeah. Did I disarm it? I think I have fully disarmed it. See, this is how we should have been using this craft. It's just because I see so many of the shots hit the water, I think, well, that's a waste. But the enemy is in the same boat. It's missing us just as much. There you go, Purifier. Don't think I'll get the money back, though, after losing that gun. Oh, I didn't think about the armor on the underside yet. Because I knew I was going to be replacing it soon, I didn't touch it. That's still got the light armor it had before when the gun wasn't there. That's the weak spot. Since I've got to mention, at the moment, our craft costs about 1.1 million. Which is very similar to some of the larger enemies we've been facing anyway. I think the, not the Purifier, but the larger version we've already seen, that costs like 1.1 itself. So we're pretty much where we should be right now. That's why I want to go to about 1.6, 1.7 before going to difficulty 100, essentially, because then we're going to be against the 2 mil options like the Megalodon and the other thing which was in my head, which you know the name of, and you should already know this. I've decided I want to do something I haven't done in a very long time, which is to try and grab a brain. Line up more. Okay, here we go. If I'm correct, when I just paused the game, it's somewhere here next to all of these little protectors. Oh, I've been knocked and I am completely stuck on this wall. It's somewhere here, I'm sure of it. Is that the brain? Pause. No, it's still an enemy. It had multiple brains. Darn it. No capturing today. What a shame. That could have allowed us to actually get some resource from that fight. Genuinely so annoyed that didn't work. I lined up perfectly. I found what I thought was the last brain it had. I managed to get in line, which is very difficult with this lump of metal, and nope, must have had a separate brain, or maybe I didn't destroy it in time and the self-destruct already occurred, I'm not too sure. If we somehow disable another target, I am going to do my best to capture it, because that'll be the only time we've captured something this run. I realise now as well, in the past fights, I may have been holding all weapons quite a few times, which is why the smaller gun wasn't firing consistently. If we fire at the stuff on the left, if it ends up going too fast, we'll end up hitting the middle or the right at least. Okay, fine. If we're going to do left, right, we'll just stagger our shots. And now reloading. That didn't feel like enough shots for a reload. There we go. Let's just completely remove one side. Well, that's unfortunate. Let's see where the actual weak points are, shall we? Kind of the whole left and right side is weak points if you get it on the side, which makes sense. It's a pretty stable flight, so these things should really be hitting. Yep, they are. Lovely. Let's go just driving into this cloud of shells. Well, that was nice and quick. Thank you for being an alarm clock. Oh, one of you again. Can you please once again just kind of run into these explosives? Because that would be cool. It's such a cool design, and I feel so bad for it. It's like 3 designs I'm just seeing over and over again. And yet, I still can't remember this thing does that weird back and forth when it first gets in range. Because who needs to actually remember things, eh? Memories for those weird people with brains. Which I'm certainly not one of. Okay, face this thing forward. This will probably be the last fight now until we go and retrofit our design. Which will be lovely. Just waiting until I can fire again. There we go. Just completely crush one of the sides, and that should be it like usual, right? Unless I avoid hitting anything vital. Go on, into the water. Go on, take a bath. I mean, it's not firing its main gun, so it's not really a threat anymore. So one more enemy appeared just as I was going towards the blue portal, and I think it's just the turtle again. Yep. Ready to feel incredibly bad? Okay, we're in the blue zone once the repairs are done, so I'll see how much resource we actually have. Time to go to the sandbox mode and start making our final renovations. Changing the gun to its 8-meter form, which no longer uses shotgun shells, so I can have a more reliable weapon with far faster shells. Changing the gun so it's at the bottom, and trying to go as far away from RTGs as possible. That's going to give us literally hundreds of thousands of extra resource, even though it also then means we're going to have to spend more resource per second to keep this thing airborne. I think that'll be worth it in the long run. It also means it'll be easier to defend because RTGs take up a lot of space. It's not only to see the resource. There's ways of doing that really and calculating it, but also I want to see all the space we have to play with as well. With everything hollowed out, this thing now only costs around about 300,000. I really thought the armor cost more than it did, so this thing isn't quite the living fortress I thought it was, but still, it's kind of like a bug face. Sorry, anyway, not quite the fortress I thought it was, doesn't really matter. So I'm going to add a bit more of a cap here on the top, and this is where the top of the gun's gonna, I guess the bottom of the gun's gonna go. Gonna go all the way through here, we're gonna be expanding this room further, and then the gun will come out the other side, a fair bit lower about here. In the meantime, though, I want to get to work changing this back section, so removing all of this and bringing it further back. I don't know how I want to do this. I'm thinking about Stellaris ships, which tend to have a bit more of a tapered end to them, and I quite like the idea, but I'm not sure if I have the skills to do what I want to do without it looking terrible, as I think this craft has kind of shown. We'll see. I'll be back in probably several hours, seconds for you. Always feel bad when you have to strip back a vehicle this much. That's plenty of space for what I want to build with. Just extended it forwards a little bit. And completely removed the sides and started to expand backwards. This is gonna take hours. Okay, so I'm going far wider here around the gun, just to make sure we have plenty of space for all the armor I want. Then I'm going to be bringing these two sides forward a bit more, so rather than going with the big central piece we had before, we're going to be kind of splitting it into two, with a sort of smaller central bulkhead, if that makes any sense, and I'm using the correct words at all. I think this is going to look a lot more interesting. A lot more divots here and there, a lot more smaller details. Trying to take my time this time, whereas last time it was just, how fast can I put all this together? I really am just making a bootleg version of, I think it's the Crucible. In my head, it's the Crucible that has the split back section and the split front section. Though I'm not going with the more rounded front, although I guess I kind of am with the central piece. This is probably going to be as long as it's going to go, and now I'm looking at it, I don't like how much of an overhang this has. I guess I could just pull this one further back again. That would help us to balance where the center of mass is, sure. Okay, so I'll pull this one back. Then I'm going to start adding some of the basic movement stuff so we can fly in the air, so then we can actually test out the weapon as I add that as well. So we are going to have some RTGs, but not many. This thing is going to absolutely devour resource. So it's going to be just constant combat if I want this thing to survive at all. Even when it's inside this like empty room without armor, I absolutely hate building upside down in this game. It makes me have the weirdest sense of vertigo. Ugh. Pure kinetic shells. Let's see how they do. Okay, that was lovely. So I've ended up splitting the gun into 4 separate cannons. This way, if we go with pure kinetic, which kind of just hit in a straight line, we have 4 straight lines we're going to be hitting with. Trying to find the impact points is not always the easiest. Okay, so we've damaged that. It's actually really hard to see where we've damaged. Let's just reload and fire again. It takes a long time to charge 200,000 energy. Yeah, this thing will need so much dedication in terms of power. Oh, but in return, that is beautiful. And the enemy's down after just 2 shots. So that was a 1.2 million cost enemy. I think this is maybe what I'm going to go with, because again, it's a shell type I don't normally use. I very rarely use pure kinetic, and I feel like we're pushing it to its absolute limit, which is the point of this gun. 200,000 energy per shot. 4 of them. This could work. The whole craft is going to be dedicated to making this work, though. Going to need a lot of power. How about this fire rate? It's not exactly going to be quick, but hopefully it'll be enough. Considering the devastation per shot you can get, wow, unless you miss like that. That's not too bad. And then let's reload for the next shot. The amount of recoil making our camera go everywhere is a bit insane. Okay, it needs more recoil suppression, but I think that's probably fast enough. With each shot counting so much, and there goes all that energy. Yep, we need to really support this gun, but that's fine. That's about 10 rounds per minute. Per gun, so I guess 40 rounds per minute with that much damage should be okay. We can always make it bigger later. So we're getting close to finishing at least the style of the craft. Overall, I'm actually very happy with this. It's obviously just copying the Scarlet Dawn, but I never have success with that, and I label this as an overall success. I really like how it's turned out. Now, as for problems, this thing will survive an onslaught of attacks, but will it be able to have enough resources to do so? That's the issue. Even just staying aloft, you can see my resources just being absolutely devoured. And when this thing moves, and yes, it is using custom jets for movement as well, because of course it has to at this weight, yeah, there goes 100, 100, 100, 100, you get the point. Very quickly, this thing will run out of resources during a fight. Once we spawn this in, we are going to have to be in pretty much endless combat, otherwise we starve. We have become a very inefficient predator. So those shells, which seems to do pretty well, are the depth fuse shells. So they go inside of the target and then release fragments. That was an AI death in 2 shots. That might actually be better than the pure kinetic. Anyway, they're just shell differences. We can test that actually in the game itself. We are almost done. It now costs just shy of 1.5 million, meaning we have 300,000 resources to still play with in the game. I am now adding the shields, we have added all of the EMP protection, I have added more armor to everything, we have the RTGs and the batteries. We do need to add the fuel backup where I have space. I do not have space for a secondary gun. We are going purely with this single, well, I'd say single gun is 4 cannons strapped to a single turret, but that's the single weapon we're using. We are purely a hunter of other godly designs. That's our only purpose. We can be overwhelmed by swarms, and that's a sacrifice I am willing to take. And now, to humble myself greatly, I think it's time to spawn in the designs I've had in my head this entire time, which I have been basing a lot of this on. If I can remember what they are. I don't think it's the Hypernova. I think it's the Crucible. And is it the Sovereign? It might be the Sovereign. Now I'm seeing what's actually available here. Yeah, I think it's those two. Did I not actually spawn them in? Let's try that again. I'm sure it's one of these two I've had in my head the entire time. Aha! Yes, that front section. I remember this, but it was a bit more smoothed out. There's the side laser systems. Though... oh! I mixed these two together in my head. I blended them. I mean, look at them. They're fabulous, aren't they? These things look absolutely phenomenal. The designer should be very, very proud. That's the Sovereign, and then this big old one is the Crucible. Fantastic things. I want to fire one shot at them, since I want to see what this gun does versus something like that. But then no more testing against these things, because these things are the things we're about to see in the game a lot of. I mean, yeah, loads of stuff falling out there. That's exactly what I wanted to see. How about of you? Perfect. Look at that. Just sheer devastation. They went inside. I think we are going to stick with the kinetic fragment then. They are still mostly kinetic. They only have like 2 or 3 fragment warheads, so the purpose is still to just go through the target. I've also set the depth fuse to be incredibly high, so against small targets, it'll just go straight through them still. Okay. Just need to add the shields, and then we're good to go. I am very much looking forward to difficulty 100. The funny thing is, due to the RTGs being efficient but also very expensive when you put them down, the new craft is only going to cost about 200,000 more than the old version, even though it has way more expensive components. The weapon is almost double the cost. The armor is a good 200,000 more by itself, and everything else. And it's all just because RTGs are very expensive. They're efficient over time, but the more you have, the heavier and more expensive the craft is. The new craft is actually slightly lighter, and yeah, it just doesn't cost as much as you might think. Hello, I was just... Oh, space. I don't know what angle would be best to even try and hit that. We can potentially hit it, it's just I'm going to hit myself and try and fire that high up. I guess try and sideswipe it like that. Oh, another enemy as well. Fantastic timing. Can't aim in that direction. I mean, technically you should be able to, but yeah, I guess I'm kind of aiming through myself. Is that another spaceship? No, it's behind us. What interesting weather we're having. What an annoying first fight for our craft. Any chance? Got a decent angle now. Let's actually look at the enemy. Oh, direct hits there. Lovely. Lots of stuff falling off the satellite of death. That wasn't a fully charged shot, but it was enough to take out the ring and the AI. So when it actually hit, it was a one-shot kill. Goodbye to the godly Scarlet Dawn satellite. Now, problem is we have a laser craft after us. We do have smoke protection pretty much everywhere, and we are very far away, so I can't imagine it's going to hurt that much. No, I'm not even seeing blocks fall off at this range. Great, because there's plenty of time to turn around. I mean, we have fast shots, but this thing is so far away. Oh, it almost did. I think it bounced off the water there. Almost scored a hit. Do I get closer? I mean, it's weird to say, but I think we're trying to get a little bit closer than this, because this is just ridiculous. Yes, our shots go almost 2,000 meters per second, but the problem is with this thing bouncing around in the water, any tiny movement's going to completely throw off our shot. And we do have enough smoke protection that, yeah, we're not taking any damage from the front. We have heavy armor on heavy armor on heavy armor with smoke. I don't think this is a particularly challenging fight. I say that probably before I instantly get killed, knowing me. Let's go there in the center. I think that shot may have just gone straight through the target. I do have the time fuses being... Well, sorry, the depth fuses very, very optimistic. Bouncy shields. Thank you. And his laser system is gone. Not the best showing there. I mean, thankfully we had a good showing versus the satellite. Yeah, the shots are going through when they actually go through the enemy. The enemy's not big enough on its sides. Where are those missiles coming from? They're only smaller missiles, aren't they? Yeah, that's not going to do anything. I think it's even EMP charged, which is not going to affect us at all. If I were your missiles, I have... Oh, I love how you've done the decoration there. Okay, can anyone tell me what that is? Oh, it's the ring shield. Oh, I love how you've done the pipes. That is so neat. Guess I'll just keep firing at the core. That's what I wanted to see. At least one of them actually detonated inside that time. And we found the source of the missiles. Done. I was just about to say we need to summon an enemy, and then we go a Goshawk. And then we go, and there we go. That's quite a nice hit, actually. Oh, why are we turning that way? Let's face the Goshawk, please. That would be grand. Never know where to fire on this thing. It is so difficult to take out of the sky. There's a nice shot, but didn't really do all that much. Maybe there? We could just try and take out that central piece there, I guess. It's less spindly than it looks as well, because it goes really far back. Like that. So where do you fire against this thing? You see this thing spawning. Where do you fire? Looks like I've damaged that barrel, so now I shouldn't really be going for that central piece anymore, since this is now damaged. This is all just armor, isn't it? With just the gun in the very center. And then at the front, again, this is all just armor. So I guess you're kind of hoping for a glancing hit on the sides? Which we did get one of early on. Never too sure. I don't think it should pose too much of a threat versus our front armor. This thing has ended a run for me in the past, but that was against an enemy with way lighter armor. Against a vehicle with way lighter armor. My vehicle, I can't talk, it's very light. Okay, so now that gun in the center is on fire. Thankfully, you can go through a lot of heavy armor, as you can see. Oh, I just shot myself with that attack because it's too high up. Let's move back. Again, it was a good hit, but with all that armor, it's not really doing much. Maybe try and go for that top gun, if at all possible. Oh, yep, one of the shots went through everything, I think. So, I actually kept 2 of the railguns as the original kinetic ones, and I'm so glad because clearly it just went through. And then broke the backside of this thing. You'd think I'd remember this, but apparently you can't use the bell above 300 meters. Considering I've done a space run, really shows how infrequently I use the bell. Okay, enemy over there, particle cannons, white flare. That is actually a terrible start, getting its full broadside while we're turning to try and get our armor in place. Blind shot. Just do some damage, please. Yep, some explosions, lovely. Hit something. That's where the particle cannon was, I think. Okay, what did we do? Because that's a lot of resource it just dropped, which means it couldn't hold it. So I'm assuming we took out a gun. Is that correct? Yep, there was a gun here, and I managed to saw it in half. So, particle cannons on the side, guns on front and back. Cool. Okay, front armor now facing the enemy. That's what I wanted to see. Let's actually use the gun. For a second I got very worried because it didn't fire when I pressed fire. It turns out I just wasn't holding the darn thing. Well, I didn't take out the gun, but it caused an explosion again. Come on. Okay, gun offline. Just one more regular turret than the particle cannons. I think the turret's scarier, though I'm not entirely sure. I'm only shooting 2 shots. Now, because I haven't had any explosions, what I assume has happened is that with all those little hits, we've lost some barrels. Am I right? Yep. Okay, so just barrels have been destroyed. That's fine. Can't really do much about that. Come on. Oh, those shields deflected perfectly. The shots are going right on target. Then the shields deflected last second. Okay, only one of the 2 barrels is firing on that gun. So I should probably start going for the particle cannon. This was way closer than I would have liked. What even is this, anyway? This is the Redeemer. Okay, so about the same cost as us. This is the Big Godly for the white flyers. Yeah, you've been disconnected. You have been badly damaged. Particle cannons are still there by the looks of things. Okay. I hate this thing's shields. Oh, and because it has such good munition defense, and we've added fragments, it means our shots have less health, which is not a good thing at all. Let's back up a bit. It's going to be close. And that was a good shot. Don't know what I took out, but lots of whatever it was. How is that gun still firing? So it was just the very tip of the barrel which got destroyed because now I'm back firing again, even though I only have a handful of repair bots. Okay, well, it was a nightmare fight, but I think that's it. I haven't seen a particle cannon in a while. Okay, we disarmed it. We have won. Not the most decisive victory. Not by a long shot, but okay. A victory is a victory. Where on earth is the core of this thing? This is taking so long. I'm so glad we went with disabling its weapons rather than going for the core because, oh my god, whoever designed this is a madman. Seriously, the Redeemer does not seem to die. Stop throwing those at me, it's just rude. Well, difficulty 100, here we are. Also double-checked after that last fight, it turns out we have 16 repair bots, which really isn't too many. It's just because the enemy hit the barrel is easy to repair. Oh, the Thresher Shark facing the wrong way. I like dodged its gun so perfectly then. Wow, not the scariest showing from my shells there, to be completely honest, but still, there we go. And that's the gun pretty much gone. Ow. Yeah, so that was the difficulty 100 fight. I've technically won. Thanks everyone for watching. Of course, we're going to summon another enemy after this. I've said it before when we've been fighting this thing. It is a really scary vehicle when it has allies. It's good at sitting at the back and doing a truly absurd amount of damage with that gun. It's not designed for one-on-ones like this. It's too small and too vulnerable. I mean, it's expensive, but it is just a floating gun. It's basically a turret. Straight back from the sandbox mode, straight into a fight, and that is Scarlet Dawn. Whoa! Event Horizon. It's the Event Horizon. There's nothing else that does that. It's the event. Why are you so high up? It's a really annoying Event Horizon. Jeez! I always forget how scary that thing is. Oh, why have I not got my pure kinetic shells anymore? I've gone for pure frag. Which is not what I want here. I lied. Did I lie? Did it do Big Boom? Did Big Boom happen? Did Event Horizon go bye-bye? Never mind! Fragment is all you need in life. That cost 2 million resources, by the way. Yeah, we have... That was the least scary I've ever seen the Event Horizon. Just, look, it didn't pierce anything. My armor held everywhere. Ah! Lovely. Anyway, I just came back from the sandbox mode because I was testing some stuff. There's like Scarlet Dawn again, this time. Oh, hello, okay. Go straight for that gun. Big gun versus big gun. I think they're also using 500mm, but not the full 8-meter rounds like we are. If we can take out that gun early on, we'll win this one. Darn it. Last chance for a turn, that was. But saying that, we have caused some explosive damage, and quite a lot of stuff just fell into the water. If we're lucky, that was because we just hit something vital, like an engine. Yep, we hit an engine. That is the Sovereign, I believe, or is it the Crucible? The Crucible is down. We must have destroyed its engines or something. And we survived its attacks with our armor just in time. I'm very happy we defeated that, considering that's the thing we were copying. Yeah, lasers don't do much damage through water. Ooh, my front did take a bit of a beating, but yep, we survived long enough. Oh my god, it's a ship. Oh, and it's a Thresher Shark again. Did I just take out the gun straight away? Yep, that gun is offline. Now, the other weapon they have are the missiles at the back. Yeah, it's pretty much done with already. Yep, Thresher Shark, please, can I have your bigger brother, the Megalodon? Maybe I'll go into the sandbox mode for the next few fights, because there are certain fights I really want to do. Should just get firing, really. There we go. Now, we do want to spawn this somewhat close to us, because that's what the Megalodon wants to do, so how about that? Yeah, that's far closer than the adventure mode. It's because the Megalodon has some short range, but very nasty missiles on its back, and we're going to be basically running away, trying to stay at max range, just picking off its weapons, and hopefully hitting something vital. Whereas they want to get nice and close to us, and because I'm the one who's summoning all this in, only fair I give them the advantage. Now, I don't really know where the vitals are on the Megalodon, to be completely honest. Though it looks like those shells may have gone straight through, which is lovely to see. Okay, hit an explosion. So what I'm really hoping for is to take out its engines. I think it uses steam engines. I can only assume they're in that central piece there I just fired. Just because... Okay, good. We're just about out of range of the missiles. Just. But I can't imagine they're near the front of the back where all the guns are. Ooh, look, it's actually gone through this gun to get through. I don't want to cheat too much looking where vitals are, but... Yeah, I mean, I assume they're there. We can at least look at what's been... Aha! Knocked out, I was about to say, and that's one of the steam engine components. Yeah, more steam engines. Okay, go for the central section. If we can knock out all those steam engines and everything else, it can't follow us, which means the missiles are rendered useless. Now, it's not to say those guns aren't scary. They are. But I've never been killed by them before. The missiles, on the other hand, I have been. Oh, some lag there, because it's activating all the smoke dispensers on the front of the craft. Though, actually, not all that much heavy armor being knocked off, just like... Yeah, it's just got to strip through his outer layer, there was some smoke there. Oh, okay, those missiles which did manage to hit haven't really done all that much. Good. Keep going back, keep on poking holes in it, hopefully we'll hit more vitals. I mean, I can see a lot of stuff falling into the water. What I need to do is hold off firing as much as I have done in the past, because I'm allowing the rails to fire, I think I already mentioned this 100 times, while not fully charged. But when they do that, they're also not very accurate, because the accuracy from the rail isn't being applied as much, and all the recoil suppression hasn't had a chance to fully recharge. I mean, that's a lot of explosive, random bits of damage we've done. Now maybe go for the guns? And just hope we've taken out enough of its engines that we can slowly outmaneuver it. We're not very fast moving backwards. It wasn't really designed to do this sort of runaway tactic, but against the Megalodon it seems like the right choice. Okay, we'll check out what I've done now. Let's see how much damage I've done to those front guns. Let's see what's in the water at the back. Also, it looks like it is slowing down. I imagine we have hampered its engines quite a lot. Okay, one disconnect there. Ooh, heavy disconnect on the second gun. Nothing on the back, of course. What's in the water? Oh, a little parcel cannon. Not much to really be happy about. Though I know for a fact we have hit the engines a few times, so here's hoping we've hit them more than I think we have. Oh, look at that! We just missed one of its AI chunks. Yep, just move back now. And just keep doing this. I think we pretty much have a victory here. Yeah, the enemy's definitely slowed down. That is really slow. That is nearly dead in the water, in fact. Our guns are better at range than their guns. Their guns are not the strongest part of their vehicle. They can't broadside at that range. I think we've got the victory. Not as decisive or as shocking as I was hoping for, but a win's a win. That hasn't fired in a while. Which is good, because we are running out of energy. That thing almost took all of our energy. If this thing ambushed us... Oh. I think it's completely dead in the water, yet must have severed all of its engines. Considering these are exiting the other side, yeah. Okay. A victory. Not a particularly fun victory, but a victory nonetheless. The last enemy I want to fight is something a little bit different. So this is probably the craft I'm the most scared of in the entire game. Maybe it isn't the strongest, I don't really know, but it's one which has ended me a few times, and every time I see it, I tend to run. This is the Pyre. Now, I don't know how vulnerable this thing is to piercing damage. What I'm hoping is very, because if it's anything like its smaller cousin, I'm thinking if we can hit somewhere here and it will go through, the jets are all at the back, right? I mean, they have to be. This isn't really cheating looking. Yeah, obviously, look, here's all the jets there, and I'm sure there's jets keeping it aloft in this location as well, somewhere. Although it is hiding them a bit better. Either way, I'm just going for the center. Now, that requires going through all of this, which I don't know if we can. But that's what I'm going to try and do. Go straight for the heart of this thing and see if we can kill it before it kills us. Honestly, I would be betting money on the Pyre, not on myself. Straight away going up. That's really annoying. Does it always do that? Because that's going to make it really hard for us to aim our guns without hitting ourselves. I don't know if we've done much there at all. I mean, 300,000 damage, so yeah, I guess we have. Just anything actually important. This thing also does summon nukes, which I'm not going to be able to deal with. I'm simply going to have to be hit by the nukes. Okay, of course, some explosive damage. Oh! In the water! It's actually done it. It's actually done what I wanted to. But not enough. It's still able to just about hold itself in the air. It just kind of hit the floor a little bit too heavily. Come on. You can do this, piercing weapons. Just go through and hit any movement piece. That's it. Nope, I am claiming a victory here for the pyre. Little needle shots. That's what it's really good at, just detonating everything inside. I mean, we're still up and running, which is quite impressive in my opinion, but, no. No, that's not a victory for us today. Wow, must have a lot of redundant movement, because we saw a lot of jet stuff then fall off. Oh, saying that, it's now in the water. Too low! Maybe we did win. Oh, an ugly victory. If a victory, we still need to survive. Come on, front armor. You know what? I'm really happy with how well defended this craft was. It survived the onslaught from the pyre long enough. Now, if we were far enough away, like in the adventure mode, I would have gave us better odds, because we can still fire at that long range. I imagine all those little shots aren't quite as good at that. I'm still reloading, so I think my gun may have actually been severed. I don't think it's just the barrels. No, at least not on that barrel. Oh, there we go. Okay, we beat the pyre. Never mind, I'm happy. I'm calling it there. Well, with that, the video is finally coming to a close. If you have made it this far, thank you so much, and thank you for the patience. This video is going to be probably a couple of weeks late. I'm going on vacation for the first time this year, in addition to me bouncing around the UK at the moment, still helping out with family, because this year so far has been the gift that keeps on giving. So thank you for your patience. Really hope you've enjoyed. I'll be back soon with another video. The next video should be Stellaris. But don't worry, I have a lot more plans with From the Depths still. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.